a blessed Friday to us. I'd like to make a little, what we call, underline. Today's gospel reading is, of course, we know, a sensitive issue, especially in terms of how people are already, into this, so many situations in life regarding the sacrament of marriage. But what I would like to underline is practically what is found that remains in all relationships, especially marital relationships. And one of this is the value or is the virtue of perseverance. Ngano man nga magpabilin o mohangtod ang mga magtiayon, ngano man nga napoy dili pod mohangtod, mulungtad. I think because the checklist there should always be part of the understanding of what perseverance is. In fact, today's first reading from the letter of James, okay, the reading says, we call blessed those who have persevered. So this is something that is considered a beatitude. In fact, the beatitudes that we hear from Matthew chapter 5, and the one that we also have in St. Luke's Gospel, which we recently read during the Sunday Mass. Actually, the bottom line of all the beatitudes is perseverance. Kung tanan mahurot na ang mahabilin katug yung mulungtad. And how do we understand perseverance in this context? There are two other P's that we have to take into account. And one of this is patience. Patience that has something to do with how we actually sometimes even overbear with people we love, with situations like we are in right now. But the other P that should always become a power source is another P, power source, prayer. And this prayer and patience always define what perseverance or what persevering is. Unsaon paglungtad diha sa ato ang kinabuhi, dili lamang sa atong tawhanon nga kinabuhi kundi sa atong Kristohanon o spiritual life, Kristohanon kinabuhi o espirituhanon nga kinabuhi. In fact, as I was actually formulating and thinking of what I would like to share, I actually don't know that I'm so glad today, to see a lot of people always fills my heart. What you could expect actually nga, what I will be talking about the three P's, prayer, patience, and perseverance. When we translate that into Cebuano, puro po letter P ba ya? What is perseverance in Cebuano? Pagkamalungtaron. No? Unya, unsa may prayer? Pag-ampo. Unsa may patience? Pagkamapailugon. No? So, it's all P's. And what are these P's for us? These are things that somehow make us so strong. Tungod kay ang letter P diha sa ato ang pagtanaw sa alpabeto, no? It is something that brings us, although it is not Cebuano or English that we see, but we are always conscious of this whenever we see the symbol of Christ in some liturgical symbols or vestments. Dili to na letter P, because that is letter R in Greek. But what comes to our mind usually is, or all the time, because we don't know, or unless you know Greek, that it is a P with an X. And that is where we see how Christ has brought everything to define what perseverance, what prayer, and what patience is in the context of what He suffered for us. And that is why we come here today. Our Mass today is offered for thanksgiving for the many different ways that God has touched our lives and has given us, practically even coming here with you. You have persevered, in fact, or you must have waited for a time like this. And this is all a cause for thanking the Lord. And of course, in English, thanksgiving begins with a T, but in Cebuano, it also begins with a P. Pasalamat. Amen.